For the last 7 weeks, we have been in a buyer's market in the Phoenix Metro. However, this is a delicate buyer's market that is not getting any stronger thanks to supply stabilizing over the last couple of weeks, meaning we still don't have an oversupply of homes for sale, which is keeping prices up and stable. This is Celina Acosta, your Phoenix, Arizona real estate agent, here with your December 2024 housing update and predictions for 2025 coming up. A lot of people believe this is the beginning of a decline in sales prices, but I don't think so, and I'm going to tell you why. The fact that we are in a buyer's market at all is a big deal. There have only been 3 other buyer's markets in Greater Phoenix over the last 25 years, and they have not lasted long. So I don't think that home prices should be the first thing to focus on in this market. Sales price is the last measure to respond to a shift from a seller's advantage to a buyer's advantage. And I believe we won't see a big change in prices this time around. When making an offer, the first thing people want to crack is the asking price. And then if that doesn't improve, then we try to get as many buyer concessions as possible. And if that doesn't improve sales, then negotiations begin to shave off more of the asking price. But this whole process of sales prices to respond can take between 3 to 6 months. So if the buyer's market is brief, like the ones we've seen in the last 25 years, we may not get to see the sales price affected this time. You see what I mean? We are at 7 weeks now, and I give it 3 more weeks before we start seeing this market shift again to a seller's market. Currently, price measures are flat and buyer incentives are high. Around 55% of the MLS closings in the last 30 days had an average cost to sellers of $10,000, meaning the seller gave the buyer an average of $10,000 in concessions when they bought their house. The 55% does not include all the concessions the builders are giving because we don't track those in the MLS. But most, if not all builders right now are giving lots of incentives such as interest rate buydowns and paid closing costs when you buy a new home. Back in 2021 and 2022, builders and sellers would have laughed at you if you wanted them to pay your closing costs. So keep that into account. This is the difference between a buyer's market and a seller's market in Phoenix. It won't be that the home prices are gonna crash, and that's how you know, but rather it shows up in conditions where the buyer gets things in the transaction that is not necessarily price related. 2024, especially the last 6 months, has the highest percentage of concessions ever recorded in the Phoenix metropolitan area. So to summarize, don't rely on price measures to reflect the best time to buy. By the time you see a price decline, that means the party is already over. So if you're a future buyer, don't miss out on the invisible benefits that happen outside of price during a buyer's market, like the rate buydowns, paid closing costs, loan assumptions, seller acceptance to contingent sales, and property repairs or credits prior to close. Anyway, the market is still cold from a seller's perspective with a lower contract ratio we've seen in 10 years. I mean, this is so slow. Mortgage rates have improved slightly from 7.1 in November to 6.8% as of right now, and most national lending experts believe they'll stagnate for the rest of December, so that's not very exciting. In order to see a notable improvement in demand, these same experts agree that mortgage rates need to be below 6.5%. Sellers struggling the most in this market are owners of homes that lack appeal, that are not updated, and that they are overpriced. If the condition and the price is not going to change, those sellers may need to hold on for a few more months or another year to get the price that they want. After 2.5 years of a challenging and sluggish housing market, there is one thing sellers can look forward to right now, and that is the spring buying season that kicks off in mid-January and continues through the end of May every single year. So let's get to the fun part, the 2025 market predictions. What will happen to prices, to the number of transactions, and to the interest rates? Those are the 3 things that people want to know the most. So we will focus on those 3 things. Let's start with prices. Will home prices drop in 2025? The short answer is no. Currently, here in the Phoenix Metro, December sales prices measures are trending up over November, not down. And year over year, we are 3.4% higher than last December, meaning if a house sold for $500,000 in December of 2023, the same house is around $517,000 today. And I am predicting that the same thing's going to happen next year. Also, the year after an election, prices usually go up, and this year will not be an exception. According to a Housing Wire article, the National Association of Home Builders is expressing confidence that the new presidential cycle will result in significant regulatory relief for the industry, and that will lead to more building of homes. So whenever home builders feel good about the economy, that's usually a sign that prices will go up in the next 12 months. Let's take a look at this chart. For this roundup, forecast and data were compiled from Realtor.com, Zillow, the National Association of Realtors, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, CoreLogic, Mortgage Bankers Association, Goldman Sachs, Housing Wire, Wells Fargo, and Business Insider. Realtor.com sees existing home sales increasing by just 1.5% year over year, the lowest of all major forecasts, while NAR remains optimistic with the most bullish projection of 9% increase. So every single expert is agreeing that there will be more home sales next year. Now let's take a look at this chart. Home price forecast for 2025. Zillow forecasts 2.6% home growth in 2025, while Realtor.com predicts a 3.7% increase, consistent with growth trends since 2012. Wells Fargo has the most bullish forecast with 4.9% annual growth in home values, which is strange because Wells Fargo is usually very conservative. Anyway, Mortgage Bankers Association stands out as the most bearish of the analysts in the chart, with a forecasted annual growth rate of 1.5%. So the average of this chart is 3.2% market growth, which is exactly what we had in 2024. We had a 3.4%. Mortgage rate forecast for 2025. As far as mortgage rate predictions, here's what experts are saying. The lowest is 5.75 according to Housing Wire. I think that's too optimistic, to be honest, but everyone else is saying 6%. So from 6.1% to 6.4%, which is great because all we need is to be lower than 6.5% to unleash pent-up demand, at least some of it. All experts predict that the housing market activity will pick up in 2025. As far as mortgage rates, I don't think they will fall too low. I think they will just fluctuate and hover around the 6% range. So what do you think? Do you think 2025 will be better than 2024? Let me know in your comments below. And as always, I hope this was helpful, and until next year.